What are we going to see from Cam Ward in his sophomore season? He went through a lot of struggles in his first year. A lot of struggles. He was also playing on an absolutely dreadful roster, and we saw all the turnover that ended up happening with Nashville that Mike Borgonzi, their new general manager, has been trying to have since he's been in that role. He completed just 59% of his passes. His passer rating was 80.2. That was 31st in the league. They were 30th in points scored and 31st in total offense. Now, there were things, and the reason I want to talk about this, that they liked about Cam Ward, and they're excited about pairing him up with their new offensive coordinator in Brian Daboll. What they liked about Cam Ward is he did the same thing in his 1 year in Nashville that he did during his collegiate career, and that is he got better as time went on. If they looked at the film, and they did, the second half of the season was a better player than it was the first half of the season. He has really a reputation for doing this, and that's why they took him at the top of the draft 2 years ago, because they thought this is a kid that will continue to always get better. He's a grinder. He's a worker. He also is a guy that has the two traits, when I ask around, that are just either you have them or you don't. And that's pocket presence and that's feel. That's really pocket awareness and processing. Those aspects you either have or you don't, and he has them. Does he have some footwork he needs to clean up? Certainly. Is there some accuracy issues that need to be fixed? Certainly. Are there some things in his game where he plays maybe a little too loose, but his bounce is honestly always pretty good, that he needs to clean up? Definitely. That's where Brian Daboll comes into play, where he's worked very well with young quarterbacks. And I know he's excited to work with Cam Ward. I know it hasn't been smooth through the spring. He's picking up another offense. He had two head coaches, essentially, in his first rookie season. Now he's on to a second system here. And again, there were growing pains, and people do expect that. But where I do believe this thing can get itself into the right spot by the time the season rolls around is the group around him, the players that are actually catching the passes, is very different than it was for him in his rookie season. Calvin Ridley's not the guy that has to be relied on entirely. Slide him into that Z spot. I know they still think he can run, still can move. He's coming back from that broken leg. They eased him along. They do think he's in a good spot to be a complement to a guy like Carnell Tate, where Brian Daboll, to my understanding, believes he's the smartest rookie he's ever been around. He's always in the right spot. He runs routes perfectly. He's going to be a very quarterback-friendly wide receiver. I had a long conversation with his old receiver coach, Brian Hartline, the other day, who just kind of raved about how Carnell's going to walk in right away and be Cam's favorite target, and he's going to make life easier on him. And then maybe the most underrated free agent signing, I think, in the NFL was Wan'Dale Robinson coming over, who knows Brian Daboll's system, who had more yards out of the slot than any other player in football last year. And my intel from the Titans right now has been an absolute pro, consistently gets open quickly out of the slot with the pressure that Cam Ward's been under is extremely important as well. The group around Cameron Ward, I think, makes things easier for him to continue to grow and develop because he can process, he is talented, he continues to work and always gets better. Now the group around him is something that they're actually kind of excited about, and there's a couple of youngsters in there too.